everybody. Let's give it up for Ken Whiteley in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, for bringing us into the room with that beautiful slide guitar. I'm quite frankly just want to sit there here and listen to that for a good hour. Really, really lovely to be in the space with everybody today. Welcome to another day in our International Teach Music Week, and also it's Women's History Month, and also a time for a lot of justice singing needed. So we're really glad you've decided to join us today for another day of trying to make the world a better place and trying to figure out how to sort our way through it. Today is day 2173. Thanks to Carolyn for the great cue card, and thanks to Tony for the great cue card. And we are, in case you've never been here before, the daily antidote of song. One song every day at noon Eastern. We are free. We are accessible to anyone who has any type of a screen, and we are delighted that you've decided to join us today. Thank you so much for being here with us. Everybody, please help me wave hello to the folks out there on the live stream. Hey, gang, out there on YouTube, and hey, all you folks out there on Facebook. We're really glad you're here with us today. And everybody, please take a second to wave to the faces you can see in the room. And actually, we can invite the live streamers to wave to all of you, too. Hello, everybody. Good to see you. I definitely see some Canadians in the room with us today. I see a lot of different U.S. states in the room today, Texas and California and Arizona and Kentucky and Michigan and the East Coast states. Really glad to have all of you folks here. And I do actually also see some UK over there. Nice to see you. Glad that you are also with us today. All right, everybody, deep breath. Yeah. So Ken Whiteley is new to us today in the Daily Antidote. Nice to have a new person in the room here with us today. He is a friend of Reggie Harris. So let's all also thank Reggie Harris for bringing us another one of his friends. He connected me with Ken. Say it again.
I said amen.
Amen.
To Reggie Harris.
Amen to Reggie Harris, who has brought a lot to the Daily Antidote song, not the least of which is having introduced me to some lovely people. So Ken Whiteley has been making folk music for over 50 years. He has won a bazillion awards. You should check out his website and see the list, including 7 Juno nominations. He is a Canadian folk legend for sure, and his music is all about connecting people. And I would say that we are in a time right now where I would be so appreciated of anything that makes me feel like we are thinking about connecting with people. So Ken Whiteley, you are in the right place at the right time. Thank you so much for being here on the Daily Antidote of Song.
Well, it's my honor to be here. I'm so glad. I'm ready to sing. Is everybody ready to sing?
We are ready. Let's do it.
Okay,
Want to teach us
great.
our part?
Well, this is a song. Yeah, this is a song. And I just want to preface it slightly. I won't spend too much time talking yet, but I wrote this song on the ukulele because I felt it needed to be as non-threatening as possible. And so I figured the ukulele was my least threatening instrument that I possessed of the many, many instruments that I possess. And it has an unauspicious title for a sing-along, but it's called Greed is a Flawed Organizing Principle. And so I'll sing that first line, and then we can all try it together, okay? So the first line goes like this. Greed is a flawed organizing principle. Try that with me. Greed is a flawed organizing principle. And then we'll sing it again. So let's all sing it together one more time. Greed is a flawed organizing principle. And then the next section goes, for you and me, for you and me, for society. Try that. For society. And then we sing the first line again. Greed is a flawed organizing principle. All together. Greed is a flawed organizing principle. Okay, so I don't know. I don't have my chat up. I should probably put the chat up, and then I can see that the lyrics are there for everyone to see. But where's the chat? Oh well, don't worry about it. I'll just assume that it's there.
They're
Everyone
there.
can see these words.
We
Let's
got
try
it.
the whole chorus together. And it'll go like this. I'll count in 1, 2, 3. Greed is a flawed organizing principle. Greed is a flawed organizing principle for you and me, for you and me, for society. Here comes the first verse now. When profit motive is sacrosanct, think the power of business, the power of banks. How can well-being take second place? What about the future we all face? Everybody, greed is a flawed organizing principle. Greed is a flawed organizing principle for you and me, for you and me, for society. Well, let's consider our options here. What about life? Do we really hold dear? If we have to choose between the planet and plastic, it might be time to do something drastic. All together now. Greed is a flawed organizing principle. Greed is a flawed organizing principle for you and me, for society. I shouldn't have to tell you about the rising seas, species extinction, importance of the bees. We've changed this planet in so many ways. If we don't change ourselves, you can number our days. Greed is a flawed organizing principle. Sing it like you mean it. Greed is a flawed organizing principle for you and me, for society. Last line, one more time again, all together. Greed is a flawed organizing principle. All right.
All right is all right. Everybody, let's give it up for Ken Whiteley. That was so much fun to sing and really super nice to think about while we are in this time. How long ago did you write that? Because that's pretty current sounding.
I wrote it. I went to a big climate event. I was just in the audience for it. I knew some of the people, but on stage. But anyway, and it was like it had like 2,000 people at it or something. It was indoors, and a lot of the speakers had a real anger to what they were saying because they're so frustrated with the intransigence of people in power, with people with money, with so many of these things which are preventing us from actually doing what the scientific consensus is incredibly clear about. We all know there has to be a huge shift in how we conduct our business as usual, and so everybody in the room already gets that. The 2,000 people that are there, they get that. And then there's some people we know we're not going to reach. And so when I got home, I'm thinking, but how do we reach those people who are just kind of sleepwalking through this? How do we reach those people who, are not bad people, but they just aren't paying attention? And so from my perspective, to break it down, it's that when you prioritize greed, the power, making money over our well-being, our collective well-being, you know, and whether you look at it just as just humans or the whole planet, I have a bigger vision of it. But it's greed that prevents us from taking the action that is clearly what we need to do. So then, that's this, the different models of how our society can organize itself, and clearly our society has prioritized profit, and at the expense of what everyone or most people know is the right thing to do. And so it's that as opposed to saying cooperation is should be our organizing principle, or all of the positives, loving each other, being kind to people, whatever, however you want to phrase it, in a simple way. It's that's this prioritization of profit.
Thank you so much, Ken. That is really, really great. So I'd asked you when you wrote it because it feels to me like more than ever right now, there's a real clarity that it is not Democrat versus Republican, and it is not all of the many ways in which we might see ourselves as separate from each other, and that there is, in fact, a real divide between the haves and the have-nots, and that greed is really potentially one of the things that is the most shaking the foundations of our ability to take care of all the humans on the planet. Because in a very simplistic way, if someone has a whole lot more, someone has a whole lot less. And so the people oftentimes who are making these decisions, the powerful people, or the people who are making climate decisions or greedy decisions, are the people the least affected by them as well. And so
Yeah.
yes. So is there a year-ish that you wrote that? Did you
I,
write it?
I think it was like 2019. I'm gonna guess.
Right. So many years ago in the scope of things in terms of what's gone on in this nation,
Yes,
for sure.
but similar president in the United States, and
Mm-hmm.
et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
It's yeah.
Yep. Yep. Well, thank you so much. I loved singing that. And kind of wish that we were going to be singing it again, but I'm also really grateful for the song that you're bringing us next. Before we sing with you again, I'd love to hear a little bit about what you have been doing out there in the world. What's the stuff you'd like to share with us so people who are meeting you in here for the first time get a little bit more of a sense of what you're about?
Well, I mean, you can see that I'm in a sort of a recording space. You can sort of see the console over there and gear and all that sort of stuff. So, I mean, I've been doing a lot of recording for the last 50 years almost. Started making records we made our first album in 1973, and and then in 1976, I helped a friend of mine who was a struggling singer-songwriter who had the idea um, to make an album for young children. His name is Raffi, and so he approached me to help him co-produce it, and so I worked with Raffi for 11 years, making children's albums, including his Baby Beluga and all these different things, and that in turn opened a door for me to produce other artists. So I began working with you know lots of different kinds of artists. So and I've always been fascinated by the recording process. Like even before we were making records, I have an older brother, and the two of us would get together in the basement. Like in the '60s, we had a reel-to-reel tape machine that we could record on, and so and both play onto one microphone, and then play. It had a sync head, so you could then put another track on. So it's I've kind of always been fascinated by this. So since then, I've had a lot of great opportunities, as well as I did an album with Kim and Reggie Harris, and I've worked with Tom Paxton in the studio, and um, the late great blues singer John Hammond, who just left us. A great woman, Jane Sapp. I don't know if people are familiar with Jane Sapp, but they should check her out if they can. Yeah, lots and lots of different people. I mean, I've made about 180 albums with people,
Wow.
and then since when the pandemic started, the two there were sort of two parallel tracks. I had a couple of albums to mix, but once those were mixed, then I'm like, okay, what do I do now? Oh well, I guess I'll record. So since 2022, I've just now released my fourth album in that time span. It's called Keep Going, and it's really it draws on a lot of the blues stuff because so much of that music speaks to our resilience in the face of the challenges that we face.
Mm.
And so much of the old blues songs really speak to keep going in the face of the crap that is in front of us. And so it's about a little more than half of it is my own material, and then there's also some traditional stuff that I learned from different people along the way, and a couple co-writes. A great singer named Eve Goldberg. I don't know if Eve has ever done one of
Yep.
these.
Yep. We've sung with them a bunch of times.
Yeah, great. So Eve is on there too.
That's
And
great.
uh, and then the other thing that happened during the pandemic was, and tomorrow will be our sixth anniversary of doing shout outs. My wife, Ellen, got an email, I think it was from the Retired Nurses Association saying, go out, at the beginning of the lockout, saying, go out on your porch, sing a song, make some noise. And we were sitting at the dinner table. I said, we can do that, So we called a couple of the neighbors and went out and sang This Little Light of Mine and something else. And we'll come out tomorrow night and do this again. Well, by the summer of 2020, there were some days where there was 100 people, all in their familial groups, 6 feet apart, but out on our street. It really transformed the community of our neighborhood. And so we did it every night for 550 nights. And then we couldn't face a second winter of like going out in sub-zero weather night after night. So at Christmas time, we slowed it down to sort of about once a week. And now we just do it when it's like, so we'll do one on Saturday for the equinox on our street, and people will come out and we'll sing a few songs, different people. And yeah, so that's good. And so for me, I had this. I maybe that's one of the reasons I didn't know about this for so many years, was because I was singing every day with a bunch of people, and actually getting to do it live. You know, being respectful of distance, and I'm blessed with a loud voice, so I was I'm able to pull that off. So.
Okay, that is amazing. I love it. I'm going to shout out to the journalists out there. Somebody has to do an article on these amazing pandemic programs that brought people together for singing in all kinds of unique ways, and then how they kept them going in some format or another. I do believe we might be the only pandemic program that sings every single day with people from around the world for 2,173 days. But you never know. We could put a call out there to see if there are others. But the ones in person, I know there's another one also in Montague, Mass, that a similar thing of getting people together, and that still get together for singing. Never before have I felt so grateful for the fact that I am conducting one on Zoom and not in person. When you said that about winter, and I'm sitting here looking out the window and the wind is insane, and I thought, oh, we didn't have to do that. That's exciting.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's amazing, Ken. Congratulations
yeah.
on,
There were some of those nights when it was, minus 20 Celsius, and there would be like 7 of us, and we know, of course, nobody brought instruments, and there'd be like a little baby in a snuggly inside the winter coat, and but we'd still come out and sing, but couldn't face that a second time.
cold is a limited organizing principle.
Yeah.
So I absolutely love chatting with you, love hearing about this. I'm going to really recommend everybody check out Ken's links, follow him, get to learn more about him. I can't wait to have you back in the space. I have a feeling you're going to have the song for every purpose, and that I will be able to call you and say, we need to sing about this. And you'll be like, oh yeah, no problem. I got that. And thank you also for, all the work you're doing out there with all those great musicians. That's really amazing. And So, is there anything else you'd like to say about, sort of how you're getting through these times before we hear about your next song?
Well, I mean, that's a big one, and I think probably most of us go through, the up the ride the wave of feeling I'm doing what I can. I know I can only do so much. I know that it affects the zeitgeist by putting out positive things. So that's the up part of the wave, and then the down part of the wave is, oh my God, not this too. Oh no,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we ride that wave, and that's, but we, but as my new song "Keep Going" says, like you rest when you need to rest. You take the pause, and then you get back up and you just keep going, and that's. So that's what would suggest is that it's like we're in this for the long haul, and we've seen it from and this brings me like to this last song I want to do. It brings me to the people who inspired me, and and I mentioned the old blues singers who the men and women, and a lot of people don't realize that all of the first blues that were ever recorded were recorded by women. So I mean, it's like this is, and there's been so many incredible women, but Bernice Johnson Reagan, when I had first seen her in 1964, I was 13 years old. This was at the Philadelphia Folk Festival, and she sang at that. She was in the Freedom Singers, and she was just out of high school at that point. Just like a couple years out of high school, and then I believe it was 1974 or 75, and when she had just started touring with Sweet Honey in the Rock, and singing this music that was rooted in their traditions, and yet was speaking to our time right at that moment, and talking about issues, and speaking, using the folk forms, and yet speaking so eloquently, and it just, like, my mind was blown really at that moment. It was a Friday afternoon at 12:30 when Sweet Honey and the Rock did their first workshop, and I was just like, and I transfixed, and I at that particular festival, I was volunteering. I wasn't even performing, so I just was transfixed. And I had the privilege of meeting Bernice over the years, and so I really value having had those connections with her, and this song that I want to just close with says, "Give your hands to struggle." So if I hadn't already recorded it, I could have put this on "Keep Going," but because it really is the same, and the chorus is so simple, which is also great for those of us when we're teaching songs. There's a few techniques that you can use, but hey, if it's the same line over and over again 4 times, that works. So the chorus is, "Give your hands to struggle, give your hands to struggle, give your hands to struggle, give your hands to struggle." Can I hear an amen from somebody?
Amen.
Well, if you see me stumble, don't just stand and look on. Reach on out now, brother. Give your hands to struggle. And if you hear my heart break, don't just count the sound waves. Reach on out now, sisters. Give your hands to struggle. Here's the chorus now, everybody. Give your hands to struggle. 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 Let's sing it again because it feels so good, yeah. Give your hands to struggle. 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 And if you hear this love song, and they're all love songs, don't just stand and look on. Raise your voice and sing along. If we all give our hands to struggle, let's sing that chorus now. Give your hands to struggle. 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 And if you hear my heart break, don't just count the sound waves. Reach on out now, people. Give your hands to struggle. And we'll really be moving, yeah, yeah. And we'll really be moving. Oh, we'll really be moving. Building up our union. If we all give our hands to struggle, let's sing that chorus now. Give your hands to struggle. Give your hands to struggle. Give your hands to struggle. Give your hands to struggle.
Woo! Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you so much, Ken Whiteley. That was amazing to sing. It's also amazing that after 2,173 days, that is the first time we have ever sung that song here in the Daily Antidote Song. And we're huge fans of Sweet Honey and Bernice Johnson Regan in here. We've sung many of the others, but thank you for bringing that one to us. And also for singing it with so much power and so much grace. And thank you for also honoring Bernice Johnson Regan, who was actually in this room with us and sang a tiny little bit on Issei Barnwell's 75th birthday. And we'll throw a link in the chat in case anybody's ever missed that one. It's a great one to go watch. But I also want to say, Ken, you just talked about the idea of putting something out into the zeitgeist and that the power of that exists. Because on Saturday, there is something happening in the globe called the Great Synchronization, where there is an organization or some joining together orgs who are promoting the idea that at 1 p.m. Eastern, everyone stops and just repeats 4 words meditatively for 5 minutes from 1 to 1:05. So we're actually going to join them here in the Daily Antidote on Saturday. And here's our Sweet Honey tie-in, is that actually Sweet Honey and the Rock wrote a special chant for that day using those words, but they can't actually join on that day because they're going to be on a bus, on a tour somewhere. They're going to join us a week later. So we're going to be in here on the 21st at 1 p.m. and we invite everybody to join us. And we're going to chant the words with different song leaders from like literally all around the globe. So a way of really showing that idea of unity right in action. We're going to do it again on the 28th with Sweet Honey premiering their new song. So we hope folks will join us in here for both of those events. That's this Saturday, and then I think it's the next Saturday. So zeitgeist synchronization in real life progress.
What are the 4 words?
The 4 words, they are peace, unity, respect, and if you give me a second, I will figure out the other one. Peace, unity, respect. Somebody else might beat me to this. Peace, unity, respect, and love. Peace, unity, respect. I can't find it. It's peace, love, unity, respect. So please join us in here. Everybody out there online, anybody in this room, we'll open the room back up again a little before 1, and we'll all do that together in this space. And actually, we encourage folks on that day, on both of the days, bring signs that have one of the words on it. Pick your favorite one or put all 4 of them on there, whatever feels good to you. Everybody, can we take a deep breath as we sing in this space for peace and unity and love and respect? Can we all thank Ken Whiteley once more for an amazing experience today in this space of coming together? Can we take a quick moment to everybody do a lot of joyful energy for the recent birthday of our Carolyn in Boise, Idaho? Yay! Happy birthday! Who is one of our super volunteers, really contributes a lot to keep things in our community rolling, interconnections, and also very specifically to be able to celebrate the birthdays and keep track of the birthdays of all of you in here. So thank you and happy birthday to Carolyn, coming in from Boise, Idaho. We are going to stay after for some birthday pictures. We invite anybody out there on the live stream, if it's actually 12:36 Eastern, your time right now, you can actually join us in here live and in person for birthday pictures. We welcome you to do that. We thank Ken again for being with us from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Everybody, please help me wave goodbye to all those good folks out there. Thanks, gang, for being with us in here again. We love knowing that you're there. Take care.